Hey everyone, it's Tori from Calypso Creative Planning. For today's video, I was challenged to use one of my junk journal grids to create a spread, and this is what I came up with. So stay tuned to see how I edit it in Procreate and in GoodNotes. Okay, if I go too fast, slow down the speed of the recording or rewind. But I'm going to walk you through this. So this is my quarterly planner, and this is the week that I'm currently using. So I'm going to export this page as an image, and I'm going to send it to Procreate. And that's where I'm going to edit the grid that I'll be using for this weekly spread creation. So once it shows up in Procreate, you just click it, and now we're inside of it. So I'm gonna pull up Dropbox over here, and this is my junk journal grids. So this bundle comes with a PDF template, it comes with PNG grids, and it comes with a Canva template. So I was challenged to create a spread using this octagonal shape, like the scattered octagonal shapes. So this is what I'm creating. I thought a weekly spread would be cool. So I'm going to start off by using the selection tool, and I'm going to select the boundary of this page, so the white part. And I played around with it because I was like, perfectionist tendencies and all that. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. You just want it to be close to the edges of the white part. I don't know why I'm motioning with my hands. You can't see that. But so I'm using the selection tool, and I'm just drawing a rectangle, not freehand, and just selecting that white part. So this is going to be like my boundaries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer above my page, and I'm going to fill this section with a white color. And this is going to be my background, but it's also going to be able to be used as like a clipping mask boundary, I guess you could say, later. So now I'm going to resize this. I'm going to make sure that my snapping and magnetics are on so I can snap to the edges of that white shape that I just created. And I'm just going to line it up with the top corner. So what I had in mind was there's 5 of these grids. So I'm going to let that be Monday through Friday. And then I'm going to create a separate one for the weekend. So I created another layer. I'm going to use the selection tool to draw a rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect because we can resize it afterwards, but I'm going to fill that with that color. And I just drug the color from the little circle up there at the top, the color circle, into that. And I realized that I needed to be on freeform to adjust this, not uniform. And I'm just letting it snap to those boundaries of that white shape that I created. So now I have a place for all the days of the week and the weekend. So that's kind of like, this is our vibe. Now I wanted to be able to show you a few different techniques in this video so that you can like play around with different ideas and whatnot. So why do I keep saying the first thing? The next thing is I'm using the selection tool to just tap the different little areas so that I can isolate the different grids. And I'm using the 3-finger swipe to cut and paste so that it's going to cut those shapes out and put them on their own layers. You can also use cut and paste from the menu up at the top, but I'm just using the 3-finger swipe to cut and paste. So every time I do that, it puts it on a separate layer. And the reason why we're doing this is so that we can layer on colors and patterns and use clipping masks in these different areas without affecting anything else. So you can name your layers, or you can just leave them. I didn't name them, but that probably would have saved me some time if I had named them so that I would know which one's which, but that's fine. All right, so there's my weekly page. now I'm going to go to, this is the functional sticker book for the Peony Promises collection. And I'm going to select just one of these solid color stickers here. I'm going to copy, go back to Procreate, and I'm 3-finger swipe, paste, allow, pasting from GoodNotes. And you can see that it's on top of some and behind others. So what we're going to do, when you paste it in, it puts it on its own layer. So I'm just turning on and off layers so I know what the right one I'm looking for is. I'm going to move it above, tap it, and say clipping mask. So now it's only going to be wherever that shape is that we have below it. So it's not going to go anywhere else. It's only going to be in that area. And you can turn off snapping and magnetics. We don't need it right now. And that's how you can fill it with color. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can fill these areas with colors and patterns, just so you can choose which way makes sense to you and which way just automatically makes sense. Well, makes sense, yeah. So this is another color, and resize using the freeform. So, because if you do uniform, then it goes that weird shape. And I'm just turning on and off the layer so I find the one that it's supposed to go above. So I move it above, tap, and clipping mask. So now it clips to that shape. Okay, you can do this with photos. You can do this with stickers like this, and so that you can put anything, clip anything to that. So for this technique, I'm pasting this sticker in so I can match a color. So I'm going to paste it. I'm going to press and hold on that black color so I get that color. And then I'm going to go to my weekend shape, and I tap it, say select, and then fill with color. Okay. You can also drag and drop the color like what I did previously, but I just want to show you a couple different ways that you can do this. So that's one, select and then fill color. If you don't select first, it's just going to fill the whole layer, and that's not what you want. All right, so here's the technique for doing a pattern. So this is the decorative sticker book, and I'm going to pull one of these little pretty box stickers. I'm going to copy it, and we're going to 3-finger swipe to paste it. And I'm just trying to figure out what layer to be on. So I'm going to paste it above that layer. So if you select the layer and then paste, it'll go right above it. So I'm going to resize this and get it about right. And keep in mind that if it goes off the page, you can't get that back. So if it goes off your canvas, you can't get it back. That's why I undid. So I'm going to go ahead, tap, and say clipping mask. So it's going to clip to that shape, and now I can resize it. So if I resized it before, then I would have lost that stuff off to the side, and I didn't want to do that. So now we can resize it within that shape, and you get, a lovely little pattern here. You can do this with like photos. It doesn't have to just be patterns. So if you wanted this to be like a memory keeping spread, and you wanted to have photos from like an event or a photo a day or something like that, this is another technique you can use to clip it to that area. So that's just a little side note there. And then let's see, I think I'll pull another one. I decided not to speed this up. So this is like real time. Sometimes when I do screen recordings, I speed it up. But this time I did not speed it up because I knew it was a little bit fast anyways. All right. So this one I'm doing just this little texture, and I just want to throw it in here and just kind of, for something in the background. And you can see some of it sticks off to the edge. So when I was doing this, I forgot that I already had that white in the background. So what you'll see next is I decided to create a new layer and to fill in that layer with a color. And I already have some of the colors pulled for this collection. So this was one of them. And I created a palette for this collection already using the hex codes from the sticker books. So I filled this in, and then I turned on my snapping and snapped it to that. Turned on the snapping and snapped it to that area. And I'm doing all this forgetting that I had already created this background shape, because what I was trying to do is create a shape to clip that to. And then when I moved it down here, I realized, wait, that's stupid. I already did this white background. Duh. So I didn't need that. So then I decided, okay, we don't need that. We already have the white background. So let's do something else with it. And I decided, let's just turn it off. We'll save it in case I need it. But I clipped it. I clipped that sticker to that white background. So, I'm not perfect. That's what that is. I'm not perfect. I decided not to clip that out so that you can see my stupidity, I guess. Okay, so let's see. What next? Okay, so if you don't know what layers things are on and you can't tell by the thumbnail, just turn them on and off. Okay, make sure that you tap that layer if you're going to drag and drop color to it. So that's what that is. I just drug from the little color dot up there into that shape. That's another way to recolor it. But then I decided I wanted something else, so I'll do something else with it later. But here, it's just super easy to drag and drop color to it. So that's, you can either match from a sticker and a clipping mask, or you can drag color to it. Either way works. And like I said, I pulled these colors from the hex codes that you get in the sticker book. So you can have that. Well, if you have the sticker books, you have that. All right, what next? Okay, so here's this background. This is like a lovely background paper, maybe pattern. I don't know. So I'm going to paste that in. 3-finger swipe. That's very handy. And I'm just going to rotate it and size it up here to about right. And you can turn on and off your snapping as you need to. And then once again, tap and clipping mask. So now I have another pattern there. And clipping masks are a great way to do something non-destructively. So if you don't want to mess up that original shape, clipping masks, those are like the way to go. So what I'm doing now is I'm turning off the background and I'm going to 3-finger swipe, copy all, so it gets all the layers. Okay, so this is our background. Okay, and this is my page here in my planner, and I'm going to tap and hold and say paste. And I realize I've got these little stickers here, so we need to get those out of the way. These are my little reminder stickers. We'll put them back later. I'm going to turn on the image selection so I can get those away. So now that I have this in here, I can use the image tool to resize it. And the boundary of this is like the overall page, and it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. I just want it to be close to fitting in there. And you can see, just play around with it until you get it just right. Because this white page has like a little, why am I motioning with my hands? It has like a little gray border around it. So I was trying to like fit it within there without like messing it up. I can't mess up the page, but you know what I mean? Like without disturbing it, without covering it up. And so now I have my page. Now the link for the mini calendar and the goals and projects, goals and projects on there, those still work. So they're just hidden under that picture. But they still work if you know where they're at. So I'm going to grab one of these mini calendars and I'm going to place it over where that mini calendar is on the page template. So if I wanted to click the monthly calendar, I can still click that mini calendar and it'll go back to the monthly page because it's sitting on top of it, right? As long as you remember that you have links under it, you can put anything on top of it and still click them. Right, so now I've got my little mini calendar, and this spread would be so good for, just like a regular weekly spread, or you can do journaling or just anything. So I'm going to fill in some of these white areas with some different things. So this is just like a little colored box here. I'm going to let this be like reminders. So I'm putting the box, and then I'm going to this page in the sticker book, and I'm going to grab the reminder sticker, and just be careful. Sometimes it wants to highlight the text that's underneath there. Didn't mean to do that. So I got to go back and get this again. And we're just going to copy and paste on the page. And sometimes when you go to stretch this, it gets all weird if you're zoomed out really far because it's, it's a skinny sticker. So you can undo, just fix that. So this is going to be a little reminder area. And then the white part at the top I thought could be for like my top priorities. And you could do this, like, let's say you were doing this as like a kind of like a scrapbook page, and each of these grids were like photos of, you know, let's say you had like a birthday party, whatever, just random thing, birthday party. You could do a photo in each of these grids using that same technique in Procreate, and just do a photo, and then the white places around it can be like journaling about that day or about the event or whatever. So that's another way you could use this page template. Now, when I started setting this up, I thought I would use it just kind of like my regular weekly page. But then you'll see here in a minute, I fill it with different text. I used the sample text and filled that in. And it made me think this would be a great like journaling, like little tiny bits of journaling every day. So that's actually how I've been using it this week. And I create a second page for my weekly stuff that's a dashboard page. If you head over to the Facebook group, I actually shared that in the Facebook group if you want to see it. It'll probably be in next week's collage, just because I really, really liked how that page turned out. But so this page ended up being a journaling page for me for the week. So it's just little tidbits of journaling each day. And then the second page is where I kept up with my to-do list and like what's coming up next. I have an area for motivation and gratitude, and I think I did a little area for like highlights of the week. I think that's how I set it up. But I really like how they look together. So if I ever decide to print this planner at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter, I think they would go really good together. But it's not necessary. I don't know. It's just something I'm trying to think about every once in a while. Okay, so for this, I decided that the black, so it's not a like true black. It's like, it's almost black, but it's a black. But I thought the black labels for the different days would coordinate really well with the black banner down there at the bottom. So I just kind of like tucked these little day headers in different places. And since I'm doing the weekend, I got rid of Saturday and Sunday. Don't need those. Yeah, I need some coffee. So since the header for the weekend is black and our area down here at the bottom for the weekend is black, I decided to kind of layer that up with a piece of washi in a different color so that it doesn't, so you can still see it without it being, black on black on black, which would kind of be pointless. So, okay. Oh, looks good. Okay. So we need numbers next, and we need text for the different days. So like placeholders is what I had in mind. I really like doing the placeholders, but you can see how well this like lays out, right? It's a little bit different. It's definitely not my usual weekly spread, but after doing this kind of weekly spread, I feel like I want to use those junk journal grids more for stuff like this, just because it's different, right? And you guys know that I get bored so easily with page templates that if I'm stuck in the same one for too long, I get kind of bored, which is probably why I'm thinking that for quarter two, my quarterly planner for quarter two, because I always like to do a dated version and an undated version, just because it's really easy for me to have that dated version. But I know a lot of people like undated, so I like to have both. But I'm kind of thinking that the quarter two quarterly planner may have a different weekly template each week. That's kind of what I'm thinking. One, it'll be fun to switch it up over and over again, do something different each week. But two, if you're sort of new to some of my typical spreads, it will kind of like get you to like introduce you to different spreads and kind of maybe even help you figure out like which one's your favorite or which ones that you are not your favorite. But that's just I'm kind of thinking that. Okay, so these are my reminder stickers. Someone asked me in the Facebook group, I don't know, was it like 2 weeks ago? 2.5, 3? I don't know. they asked me the other day in the Facebook group if I had any stickers for like reminders for different release dates, and so that they could add them to to their calendars. And I was like, first of all, super freaking flattered, because like, to know that you guys, like, even if it's just one person, but to know that oh my gosh, excuse me, I still have a cough. Pretty sure I had COVID. Anyways, but to know that, like, even if it's just one person that likes my stuff enough to want to add it to their calendar for when new stuff comes out, like, that's just super flattering. Like, that's just really cool. So, of course, I made some little reminder stickers. They come in a couple different styles and little extra ones. But so these you can get in the Facebook group, or if you're on my mailing list, you can grab these from the freebie vault on my website. And I think they're really cute. And several people have said after I shared them, they're like, I didn't know I needed this. And honestly, I didn't know I needed this until I made these. And I'm like, damn, this is super helpful. So I've gone through my planner for the rest of the quarter and labeled all of my little reminders for all these different releases with these stickers instead of typing it out every time. And I love it. It's very cool. And if I want to take the reminder off and put like text because it fits the theme of the week better or something, I can totally do that. But having them just like popping it down on the page, very handy. Okay, so for this, I had this idea, like I want to write notes on top of these patterns, but I don't want to lose the patterns. So there's semi-transparent stickers in the functional sticker book. So I started playing around with different ones that might work to cover up the pattern, but not all the way. And so this one's a pretty busy pattern. So I thought, let's go with the gold and see what that looks like on here. And I was like, okay, so the gold could work. So I stretched it out to fit kind of like, a decent amount of space that I would like write notes in. And then just to make it a little more intense, but still semi-transparent, I copied it and then pasted it. And this is where it got weird. I don't know what happened. Like, it was being all crazy here, but pasted it so that I could just put that on top. So it's like a double layer, but it's still semi-transparent, right? So that is my trick for when you have a kind of a hefty pattern. That's, there's a lot going on in that pattern, but I still wanted to write on it. So that's 2 semi-transparent stickers layered on top of each other. And then for the other one, I thought the black color would work and pull that, balance the black at the bottom with black at the top. But see, it's still semi-transparent, so it's not going to cover up my whole pattern and just like take over, right? So I have to say, I love the semi-transparent stickers in the functional sticker book because they're great for stuff like this, but they're also great for if you have like a schedule in your planner and you're time blocking. They're perfect for that. So you can like put it on there and still see the lines and put your notes on top. Love it. Okay. So this is just adding a couple more stickers from the decorative sticker book, and you can add to this throughout the week, just depending. Sometimes I do that, so like start out with some and then end up with more or less throughout the week, depending on how things go. And I have to say, I really love the combination style of this particular sticker book. So it's like collage style and standard, my standard sticker style mixed in. And so far, you guys seem to be really liking it. So, I think someone even said, I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was a comment or a message, but someone was like, I hope you do more of this. So I will, definitely. Speaking of collage style sticker sets, there is a new one that came out for this collection today. So go grab that. This is my sample text. So if you haven't used sample text, here's how I do it. So I copy the text from that page. You can choose your formatting for your text, and I go ahead and set it as default. Tap to create your text box, and then you press and hold to paste it, and then now you have your sample text in there. So then I can just save it and just like, adjust my boxes to get the sizing just right. And I'm not necessarily worried just yet about like overflow. I just want to get a text box in there. It went really weird. This is the one where make sure your image selection is turned off so you don't accidentally select that it just was being really weird for some reason, GoodNotes and its weirdness. Okay, so select the text box. I just wanted to reposition that a little bit. With having this background as an image, make sure that your that your image selection is turned off. Otherwise, every time you go to do something, you're going to move it, and you don't want to do that, and then you have to reposition. It's a pain in the ass. So turn off your image selection. If you're working in Noteshelf, you can lock the background image, and that's fine. So I'm just going through here, and I'm just pasting in this sample text and changing the color in some places, and I'm going to resize them a little bit and just adjust them here and there as needed for each section. So for some of these, like this, I'm resizing the box, and then I can just delete the text that does not need to be. Now, here's one tip for you. If you're trying to select text to get rid of some of it, sometimes if you do it with the Apple Pencil, it wants to it doesn't necessarily want to select it. It wants to do more of a cross out, and that's not what you want to do. So if you are having trouble with that and it's not wanting to select it, then use your finger. That is the tip that I have found, because it has been so annoying sometimes trying to select text that I want to get out, or select text that I want to change or whatever. And when I use the Apple Pencil, sometimes it doesn't read it like I'm trying to select it. Sometimes it reads it like I'm trying to put in a space or write through it. And it's that's not what I'm trying to do. Pay attention to my needs. So use your finger instead. That is my tip. And what I ended up doing, because last night actually, so I'm actually recording this narration on Friday morning when you're going to see this. I'm going to upload it right after I get finished talking. But I actually went through last night and I got this caught up to, I didn't have every day filled in, and I changed some of the text sizes so I could fit more in there. And then some of them I left the same, and some of them there's, maybe a couple paragraphs. That bright pink one, I ended up stretching it out to the full edges of it. And then I just, on the lines that I needed to be shorter, I, just hit enter. So it went to another line. So it's it goes shorter and then wider and then shorter again to fill in that shape. That's a quick way to kind of wrap text there. But okay, so filling this in, we are almost done. And so anytime you see me select and it's really quick, it's because I did it with my finger, because the Apple Pencil did not want to cooperate. Let's see. Next, let's just come up here, and just so I like to have the just basic text in these little places. I don't know why that read that as property number 1. It's supposed to be priority, but the little Tracy thing did not catch that, and I just went with it. But I like having text as a placeholder, so that all I have to do is select it and override it with what I want to be there. So if it's already there, I don't have to set it up. So that's one reason why I really like doing the sample text. So, and this is another version of sample text, I guess, because I just, it's just placeholder. And these little hearts, I've been doing this a lot lately. They are so cute as bullet points. So I thought I'd throw that out there. If you have not tried this, they make super freaking cute bullet points. Now, I know some people like using elements in GoodNotes, but I personally do not like elements, because sometimes you can make that as an element, size it and put it as an element. But sometimes when you do elements, it makes it blurry. And I don't know why, because the beauty of doing it as an element is so that it's the same size every time. You can pull it in and be the same size, so you don't have to resize it. But for some reason, sometimes it makes it blurry, and it's just well, then what's the point? That just makes no sense. So I don't know, that would be a perfect place to create it as an element, so you have that bullet point over and over. But it just doesn't work. So I just very rarely use that. I have a few that did work, because like I said, it works sometimes, but not all the time. But yeah, I don't know. That's random. Okay, so That's it. That's all I got. This is fun. Super fun spread. So challenge me again and I will do another one. I am happy to. And I hope this gave you some inspiration. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.